What if the most horrifying stories were never told? What if governments, empires, and institutions erased the truth on purpose? Today, we uncover 3 real historical events that were hidden from the world until now. 1. The secret chemical experiments in St. Louis. During the 1950s and 60s, the U.S. government conducted a secret experiment on its own citizens in St. Louis, Missouri, without their knowledge or consent. Low-flying military planes flew over low-income, predominantly African American neighborhoods, spraying mysterious particles into the air. Children played in the streets while a strange mist settled around them. No one knew it was laced with cadmium sulfide, a toxic chemical. In some areas, spraying devices were installed on rooftops, releasing the same chemicals over long periods. Soon after, many families began experiencing strange health problems. Children developed chronic coughs, and adults fell seriously ill. Doctors noticed a spike in cancer and respiratory diseases, but couldn't trace the cause. The government kept the experiment classified for decades. It wasn't until the 1990s that documents emerged, revealing what had happened. Survivors spoke out, people who were children during the tests, still carrying the scars of betrayal. Some families had lost multiple loved ones to early deaths. Graves of children from the area remained largely unacknowledged. Only much later did headlines read, "Government admits secret chemical tests on St. Louis." But no official apology ever came. 2. The Kolyma death camps of the Soviet Union. Hidden deep in Siberia, the Kolyma region became home to one of the most brutal forced labor systems in history, the Soviet Gulag. Tens of thousands of prisoners, many innocent, were sent there, working in freezing temperatures to mine gold. They labored with bare hands and broken tools, their fingers black with frostbite. The barracks were overcrowded and cold. Malnutrition and disease claimed lives daily. Guards often beat or shot inmates who couldn't work. Collapsing from exhaustion was sometimes a death sentence. Dead bodies were dragged across the snow, with no proper burial, just discarded in the frozen earth. Yet the work never stopped. The gold from Kolyma funded the Soviet Empire's rise, extracted at the cost of millions of lives. The truth was buried in secret files marked "Top Secret," hidden for decades. Survivors, now old and frail, described it as hell on earth. Even today, maps of Siberia reveal the horror: hundreds of forgotten camps, thousands of unnamed dead. 3. Canada's forgotten children, the residential schools. For over 100 years, the Canadian government forcibly removed Indigenous children from their families and sent them to residential schools. These schools, often run by churches, were designed to erase their culture and language. Children had their hair shaved, wore uniforms, and were forbidden from speaking their native tongues. If they disobeyed, they were beaten, humiliated, or isolated. Many cried themselves to sleep, alone and afraid in dormitories far from home. Behind closed doors, abuse, physical and sexual, was rampant, but never punished. In school photos, rows of children stared blankly, many would never return home. In recent years, mass graves were discovered at former school sites, hundreds of unnamed children. Survivors returned to these ruins, mourning those lost and demanding justice. Memorials now rise, tiny shoes, candles, and names once erased, finally remembered.